What's something you forgave, but secretly still bothers you? My girlfriend wanted to do something nice for me, but instead, she ended up hurting me more. About a week ago, I had to go on a quick business trip to meet with the marketing team of another business. While I was away, my girlfriend decided that she wanted to do something for me to show that she loved me. I just didn't expect her to be so mindless about it. When I got home from my business trip, she picked me up from the airport. When we arrived, before I could get out of the car, she asked me to keep my eyes closed because she had a huge surprise prepared. I grinned and joked, "Is it a nice surprise in the bedroom?" She hit my shoulder playfully and said, "No." She walked over to the passenger side and held my hand while we walked over to the front door. We suddenly stopped, and she told me to open my eyes. I stared at my computer and gaming setup, not really seeing a difference. I smiled and just said, "Oh wow, baby, this place smells so fresh. Thank you." She raised an eyebrow and said, "That's not the surprise. That's just Feebreeze." She picked up one of my gaming controllers and raised it up to my eyes. She grinned and said excited, "Ta-da! I cleaned all of your gaming stuff. After I did the laundry, I threw in your controllers and keyboard. But don't worry, I wrapped it up in a bed cover neatly so it wouldn't get scratched up in the machine." My mouth dropped open from shock. I was speechless. She grabbed my hand before I could react and dragged me back outside to the driveway. We stood in front of my car, and my heart immediately sank before she could open her mouth and tell me what other horrible things she did while I was away. In the shade, my car looked fine, but when the sunlight hit, I noticed that there were tiny scratches and swirls. While I walked around my car, my girlfriend proudly announced that she had cleaned both the outside and inside of my car using the hose. My eyes widened, and I asked her to clarify. She repeated that she actually took our gardening hose and washed and scrubbed the car, including the interior parts, which meant that she had potentially hurt some of the electronic components. At this point, I was preparing myself for a heart attack. I said, "Babe, you're really killing me." She grinned, thinking it was a compliment, and said, "I have one more surprise left." I laughed, hoping she was joking. She pulled out my keys from her pocket and unlocked the doors, pushing me onto the driver's seat to take a look at her masterpiece. She had bejeweled the steering wheel so that I would be reminded of her whenever I went out. She had no idea that the jewels she added made driving more dangerous, because if I ever got into a car accident, my head would slam into the jewels, or it could get loose and potentially hit me like bullets. I tried to hold my emotions together and said sarcastically, "I don't know if you're cutely ignorant or low-key trying to kill me." She got angry and said that of course she wouldn't try to kill me, that she could just leave any time since she knows she could always easily find better. I got angry and told her that what she said was unnecessary and rude. I got out of the car and walked over to collect my suitcase. I pushed past her and focused on unpacking my bags in our room. She stood by the door with her hands crossed and said, "I put in so much effort to make you happy, and you get mad at literally one thing I said." I reminded her that the things she did were dangerous and stupid, so I had no reason to be happy. "You could have just gotten me a game or something normal." She said that she didn't want to be a normal girl. She wanted to be the best girlfriend, and I'm not appreciating her enough. She marched out, and I sighed, thinking that if I sat around and let things keep going the way they were, we would eventually break out into a fight that we'd both regret. So I stopped unpacking and went down to give her a hug and apologized, even if I did nothing wrong. After I apologized, things went back to normal between us, but I spent several days and weeks replacing and removing a lot of the things that got damaged.